Now, the Accra High Court is giving the Ghana School of Law the green light to organize its entrance examination slated for July 14. This was after it dismissed an application filed by 11 law graduates seeking to hold the Ghana School of Law entrance exam. The students initiated the action following a Supreme Court landmark judgment describing as unconstitutional the entrance exam and its accompanying interview session organized by the Independent Examination Board of the General Legal Council. The Apex Court, however, held that it had no intention of interfering with ongoing arrangements for this year's admission. Joy News' Joseph Akable was in court on our reports.
It was a day that many look forward to. Apart from the 11 students who have initiated this action themselves, quite a number of graduates of law made it to the courtroom. Lawyers who are already in the practice also made it a point to attend the court hearing to listen closely to proceedings. Justice Anthony Yeboah's courtroom was full with no seats left empty as the arguments for the day commenced. Now, lawyer for the 11 graduates of law, Professor Kweku Ansah, started by arguing against allowing the Independent Examination Board undertake the exam. He insisted the Supreme Court lacked the power to allow an illegality, especially when it has held that the said board does not exist in the first place. He said allowing the exam take place on Friday will mean the students will suffer irreparable damage which cannot be remedied immediately. He said their fundamental human rights were at stake, and since the court had been clear in its mind that the said examination board did not exist in law, it was not necessary for the court to allow the exam to take place. The lawyer for the General Legal Council disagreed. In arguing before the court, he insisted the Supreme Court order was very clear. It directed that the current examination that was supposed to take place was to go on because it did not want to interfere with the ongoing process. He again argued that in terms of balance of probability, the General Legal Council, and for that matter, the thousands of students who were preparing to take the exam on Friday, were likely to suffer more than the 11 students who had initiated this action. Delivering his judgment, Justice Anthony Yeboah held that the orders of the Supreme Court given was not in isolation of the context for which that order was given. He insisted that the orders were very clear and was not a case that they held that the exams was unconstitutional unconditionally, but rather it was unconstitutional but taking exception and allowing the present exam slated for Friday, July 14 to take place. For Professor Kweku Ansah, who interestingly is a former director of the Ghana School of Law, he, despite being disappointed, is calling for the GLC to, as a matter of urgency, consider expanding facilities at the Ghana School of Law.
They should expand the facilities, first and foremost, and make sure that the requisite legislative instrument is sought from Parliament. The bone of contention has been the illegality of LI 1296. So once they've been given 6 months to put their house in order, it is hoped that they will do the needful. Yes. Having obtained the LI, I also suggest that they expand the fiscal facility. In fact, this is more governmental action than the law school itself. And then, the larger general public, because government alone cannot shoulder the responsibility of legal education. And therefore, we should all play our useful civic roles in ensuring that the private sector can, fund, the construction of more facilities, lecture halls, classrooms, amphitheaters, courses for the students, and not just leave it, to government alone, to show that there's response. It is enormous. It is an enormous task they alone cannot.
For the students themselves who initiated this action, they say they are traumatized by the decision and are not certain they may be able to undertake this exam come Friday.
We are actually traumatized as I speak to you now, but we'll put ourselves together. We are now going to meet our lawyers, and then they actually will guide us as to what to do. As to whether we'll take the exam, there are other options. We can decide not to take the exam. That would definitely amount to a boycott. We can decide to go and write the exam because we have applied for it, we pay for it. And so the decision now will be with our legal team and the leadership.
What is clear now is that the exam slated for Friday, July 14, will be taking place. But the bigger question is what measures the General Legal Council intends to put in place in the years ahead. Reporting for Joy News, Joseph Akable, Law Courts Complex.
We're staying with the courts, and Abeka District Court has said July 26 to deliver judgment in the case involving the branch manager of Moako Fast Food, Jihad Shaban, who's accused of assaulting a caterer at the restaurant 2 months ago. It is alleged Jihad dipped the face of the caterer Evelyn Wache into blended pepper. The development which generated heated national discourse on how workers are treated by the employees died down as the trial progressed. Lawyers for the accused persons failed to show up in court on Thursday, but that did not prevent Magistrate Victoria Gansa to fix a date for judgment. She warned Jihad Shaban she will bring closure to the matter with or without his lawyers filing their final statements in court. Now, the Ghana League Clubs Association wants this weekend's round of matches suspended in solidarity with the Asante Kotoko Football Club, which got involved in a fatal road accident on Wednesday night. The bats of the Kumasi-based team, which was homebound after a midweek league match with Entire Light in Accra, ran into the rear of a truck carrying fertilizer. Assistant Equipment Officer Thomas Kofi Asari died on the spot, whilst two others, the head coach Steve Polak and driver Nana Bechi, who got injured, are due to undergo surgery. Now, the fate of attacker Shite Olenu is, however, unclear. We'll be joined by the team from Kumasi with the latest on this accident in a bit and hopefully how the attacker is faring. But GALCA President Kujo Fiano at a news conference in Kumasi said the team following the accident cannot be in the right frame of mind to honor this weekend's Premier League matches, for which reason he believes the league should be put on hold temporarily.
How will even the drivers of the other clubs also feel traveling just maybe within 72 hours, because some matches are supposed to be played on Saturday. So it means that these clubs will be traveling within 48 hours after this major accident. So we are pleading that if they could give us this weekend so that we can recover psychologically and continue with the competition. It had eaten into our coffers. So now we also travel in the night. That's why we also travel immediately after the game against Boga Stars in Tamale. The only other thing we do is, because of the highway robberies, we travel with armed policemen at our cost. Because today is road accidents. The next time it could be highway robbery. What are we also doing to curb that? Because if in these very trying moments that we don't have sponsorship for the league, an overnight stay of a contingent of 30 is over, depending on your choice, but averagely, we're talking about 8,000 Ghana cedis. I'm talking averagely 8,000 Ghana cedis overnight.
Well, management of Kumasi Asante Kotoko has officially confirmed the death of the team's assistant equipment officer, Thomas Kofi Asari. Management member Thomas Boache Ajimang sums up the move of the bereaved family.
It was very difficult, even entering the house and moving out of the house. Somebody was treated after the news was broken to the family, as she collapsed when we told them. The wife was in no mood to accept the news, and it's been a very hectic moment for the management of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. We believe it's an unfortunate incident, but what can we do?
He says the management will soon be making a statement on the team's ability to participate in the rest of the league matches lined up for the season. Mr. Boache Ajimang reveals management is awaiting a report from the medical team to determine whether or not the club can go ahead with the rest of the matches.
To depend on what the medical team tells us, led by Dr. Michael Leeds, he's informing us it will take us about a week for him to specially assess what we should do. So we'll be waiting on the report of the medical team before we take the next line of action.
All right, so we're joined via Skype now by Lava Firm sports editor Delali Atiase with the latest on the accident. You realized that initially we're telling you that one of the team members, the attacker, where his fate is unclear, but well, Della has joined us now. So Della, what can you report about the fate of the members of the team who got injured and were to undergo surgery?
Well, I'm easy. Thank you very much. With the exception of Shite Oleno, the midfielder, all the other players treated and discharged this morning. They've all gone back to their homes. Now, it's left with Shite Oleno and then Coach Steve Pullak, as well as the driver and Becky, who are still on admission at Overlordship Hospital. I've been told, we're told by the technical team that Shite Oleno, for instance, is going through trauma and he's having some chest pains, and so that's why they are making him stay to have a better observation of him. But for Coach Steve Pullak and the driver on another bench, they sustained very severe injuries. And I'm told had undergone very difficult put to me easy, but if I understood that little bit of it, I guess you're asking about the minister's visit. Yes, indeed, the minister for youth and sport was in town, and he paid a courtesy call. He came to commensurate with the team, and he went first to the court of secretary where he met and spoke with the management, extended his sympathies. Then he moved on to the Parliamentary hospital, opportunity to also see Ashiki Oleno, who was unable to see Coach Pullak and the driver. And from there, we went to the home of the deceased, that's Siasari, at a stressor here in Kumasi, where he also went to extend his sympathies to the family. And he had an opportunity to speak to the wife and the 4 kids. And I told them that, yes, government will have to support him before he left Kumasi. And the latest information I'm picking up from the point is that they've written officially to the Ghana Football Association, requesting that they postpone their matches because, according to Dr. Leeds, who is the head of the medical team, the earliest the players will face for improving start training will be in 2 weeks.
All right, now Delali, we have a very poor Skype connection to you, and
a month for them to even get ready for match action.
All right, thank you very much, Delali Atiase. I would wish that you could do something about your Skype connection, because the connection to you is pretty poor. So we will be coming back to you, Delali, but government has meanwhile announced plans to make buses from the State Transport Company available to convey the country's football clubs. Youth and Sports Minister Isaac Esiama has told Last Sports the ministry has already communicated its intentions to STC. He told officials and players of Asante Kotoko when he visited them on Thursday, the request to the State Transport Company includes refresher training for drivers who man the buses.
The regional minister came here and we spoke in the morning. He came here with the deputy regional minister, also on behalf of the president, to sympathize and empathize with the situation here. I've also come, and when the regional minister came, I'm told he made a donation of 10,000 Ghana cedis. We're also waiting for a full report of the incident, and then as a ministry, as government, we will know what to do to support Kumasi Asante Kotoko. We are going to take care of all the medical bills, everything. The government is going to take care of all the bills. We are also going to have a package for the team. That will be discussed together with the management of the team. I've come here with additional 10,000 support to the team. When I met GACA, we discussed a whole lot of issues considering their welfare, considering how we could promote domestic league, we could promote the local league. The issue that came up strongly was about their bus arrangement, how they travel arrangement, how we could make their travels secure, we could make their travels more comfortable. So we discussed it, and I've even written a letter to the CEO of State Transport Company, Nana Komia, for us to have an arrangement, a special arrangement for our clubs in terms of their movements locally, their internal movement, their internal league. So there's a process in place to ensure that we have decent buses, comfortable, secured buses for our teams, so that their travel arrangement will be safer, secured, will be comfortable for the local teams.
Mr. Siama donated 10,000 Ghana cedis to the club and assured of government's continued support. Staying with the Kotoko accident, management is yet to decide whether to put a stop to night travels by the team following Wednesday's tragedy. Some sympathizers of the club and followers of the game have questioned the decision to travel at night right after the match. Operations manager Ernest Owusu Ansan has been trying to explain why night travel remains a viable option.
The problem was that we played a midweek, Wednesday. Those who played were to rest today. Those who didn't play would train today. Then the rest would join the team on Friday to play us. So you couldn't have slept overnight so that you miss training Thursday, Friday and play against us. So we were in a hurry to come back.
So if I understand, it means that you'll still be traveling at night if this is the schedule?
Yeah, maybe we have to review it. But most of the time after matches, all the teams, they travel at night because of the cost element. You stay in a hotel 2 nights, the amount of money you'll be paying, you can't believe it.
You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break on the bulletin. We're still ahead in the bulletin. 2 suspected armed robbers staged daylight carjacking after shooting to death a police officer at Abekan La Paz here in Accra. And then more than 1,000 hectares of farmland belonging to about 900 farmers in the Upper East region have been affected by the fall armyworm invasion, with at least 200 of the farmlands completely destroyed. We'll have all that and more coming up. Stay tuned. Government has committed $10 million as seed money for the National Entrepreneurship and Innovations Plan, which was launched Thursday. The plan is set to stimulate private sector growth, create more jobs and expand the economy. Speaking at the launch, President Akufo-Addo said the plan would also provide tax incentives to startups to help them survive in the early stages of establishing their businesses.
Ours is predominantly an SME economy, and the economic growth and development of our country depend on how well we nurture and support startups and the micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises to enhance their contribution to GDP, job creation, and exports. Micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises contribute about 70% of Ghana's GDP and account for more than 92% of enterprises. An overwhelming majority, estimated that 90% of businesses, employ less than 20 people, and there are relatively few enterprises in our country that qualify as large-scale enterprises. It is obvious, therefore, that we have to focus on the development of startups and small businesses by encouraging the entrepreneurial spirit as a national priority. Let me, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, introduce you all to the National Entrepreneurship and Innovations Plan. This is the flagship initiative which will be the primary vehicle for providing an integrated national support for startups and small businesses. The plan will enable new businesses to emerge and give them the space to grow, to receive financing and business development services, to secure markets during the critical formative years, and to tap into a wide supply chain and network during their growth years, helping to create jobs at a widely distributed national level. Government has contributed $10 million United States as seed money for the plan.
And Akufo-Addo also defended the recently introduced 3% VAT flat rate and said the policy plus other tax reforms are meant to boost the Ghanaian economy.
We abolished a lot of taxes, such as the 1% special import levy, 5% VAT on real estate sales, 17.5% VAT on domestic airline tickets, 17.5% VAT on financial services, 17.5% on selected imported medicines that are not produced locally, and have reintroduced the 3% flat VAT rate for traders. I know that some traders are having problems with the reintroduction of the 3% flat VAT rate, but I'm confident that as time goes by, the objectives of the policy will be better appreciated and embraced. All these measures are being undertaken to stimulate enterprise activity and growth. Very soon, we shall reap the benefits of more jobs and an expanding economy.
MP for Kumbungu Ras Mubarak has drawn the attention of the Speaker to alleged contemptuous comments by social commentator Sidney Kingsley-Hayford and has requested that he is slapped with contempt charges. In a statement on the floor of the House, Ras Mubarak said Mr. Kingsley-Hayford's comments amounted to an attack on the integrity of the House. The financial analyst claimed at an event organized by the Governance and Security Group of Africa in Accra that MPs, quote, just sit in Parliament and make stupid decisions and pass stupid laws, unquote. He claimed MPs were only interested in spending money like crazy. MPs are unhappy with the comment and leadership has been directed to look into it.
Mr. Speaker, in the said story, the gentleman by name Sidney Kingsley-Hayford is reported, and there's an accompanying video to the story where he's seen and heard making comments that affront the dignity of this honorable House. Mr. Speaker, not only are his comments an attack on the integrity of all members of Parliament, past and present, but if one were to stretch it, it even borders on promoting hatred and vandalism when he talks about breaking down Parliament. Mr. Speaker, we have a duty to defend and honor the integrity of this House. And Mr. Speaker, if I may quote, he says, these people are sitting there, spending money like crazy, making stupid decisions, and passing stupid laws. All they think of is, let's pass this thing quickly, let's go to Century Royal, let's go and sit there and chill and come back. And that's the pattern. And he goes further to say that they don't read the papers that are given, they don't think through what the challenges are, and the first thing, according to him, the first thing I will do if I had the opportunity is to break down Parliament. This Speaker is a serious statement. His comments are downright offensive, they are outrightly benighted, and can be coming from a man who seems discombobulated from the world he inhabits. He's unjustifiably inciting people against members of Parliament. And if his comments are allowed to pass, it will set a very bad precedent and create more room for people to impugn the reputation of members of this House. So, Mr. Speaker, I wish therefore to call on this honorable House to invite the gentleman to appear before the House to answer contempt charges.
I've read what the colleague who just made this statement pulled out, and I think if that is the nature of what the man said, then certainly it cannot be good. It would amount to inflicting a mortal wound on the image of Parliament, and it's important then that we find a way to deal with it. I think I overheard the Speaker say that he wanted leadership to confer an advice on the way forward. If that is the case, Speaker, maybe given the fact that we have a few weeks ahead of us before the House adjourns, it will be then important for leadership to meet as early as possible on that matter and appropriately.
Outstanding orders, Order 31, should be the appropriate route to take. But I also take a cue from the earlier discussions of the House that the leadership needs over this matter and advise the House. So I accordingly refer the matter to the leadership of the House to meet and discuss and advise the House.
Well, the financial analyst Sidney Casely Hayford has since apologized for the comments. He was speaking on Joy FM's Newsnight, and he indicated that he's prepared to go before Parliament to apologize and withdraw the remarks he made against them. You're still watching Joy News Prime. My name is Ojolai. We're taking a break. We have business news coming up thereafter, and then we have a lot more stories after the business news station.
Hello again, good evening to you and welcome to Business. The government says it would conclude the gas export agreement with Tullow Oil by next month. This should aid the flow of gas from the Twinebua, Enyira and Ntome, also known as 10 oil field, to their Turbo processing plant in Takoradi in the western region. There were fears the country could get back into serious power crisis as government delays in settling on the price to purchase each volume of gas exported. The Jubilee field, the main source of gas for the country, would be shut down for almost 12 weeks from September. But Deputy Energy Minister Dr. Muhammad Adam says there's no cause for alarm.
I know that there are discussions between the parties, GNPC and the other parties, to the extent that we should get a gas sales agreement by the end of August to allow for the partners to supply gas from 10. And I know that they are working so hard behind the scenes, and I know that my minister, the Minister of Energy, has been putting all the necessary support into these discussions to ensuring that we achieve the August deadline for the gas sales agreement to be signed. Because as you know, Jubilee is going down for some time, and unless we are able to get an alternate fuel to be able to sustain power production, we may have some challenges. And so we are concerned about that, and therefore the minister has started discussions with the 10 partners to allow for them to supply gas when Jubilee goes off, even if we are not able to sign the gas sales agreement by the end of August. But I can assure you that considering the level of work done and the urgency attached to this work, we should be able to get a gas sales agreement by the end of August.
Some have said that this has taken quite a long time, and what do you make of this concern, looking at the fact that we all knew earlier this year that Jubilee would go down in the third quarter? Finalizing this agreement, offering a good price or taking that good price or reviewing the price that is being offered has taken quite a longer time.
I mean, we came in and realized that the 10 project was far ahead of the negotiation for gas price. And we decided that as a government, we were going to give attention to that negotiation, because if the project was completed and there was no gas price, how were you going to supply gas from the 10 field? And it's the level of attention we gave to it that is resulting into the anticipation that we will have a gas sales agreement by August. But you also know that these negotiations involve a lot of modeling, a lot of computation of cost, and you want them to do the right thing. so that everybody is happy about the outcome of the negotiation. But as I indicated, we are very confident that with the push which the Honorable Minister is giving to this negotiation, we should be able to get a gas sales agreement by the end of August.
Now, some players in the banking industry maintain the setbacks facing the energy sector are also an impediment in the growth of the banking industry in Ghana. The World Bank, in a recent report, described Ghana's energy sector as performing below expectation and called on government to fix the problems to ensure the country's economic growth is not affected. Speaking to Joy Business after a launch of UMB's 45th anniversary celebration, CEO of the bank, John Ewua, noted the shortfalls in the energy sector hamper the financing of industries as well as banking.
I do not think we are at a level where we will say that banks in Ghana have arrived. There are challenges in the environment. You are aware of the issues we had with the energy sector. It is banks that fund the energy sector. So if the energy sector is struggling, then it means that financial institutions may be struggling. And that will affect industry. If there is no energy, industry struggles to perform, and industry is financed by banks. So those pockets of incidences have, to some extent, affected the industry. But generally, I would say we have solid financial sector. We just need to close our ranks, talk some more, so we can integrate our practices and our procedures in terms of our approach to the customer. So one customer does not do something very, very bad in one bank and get away with it by just moving to another bank.
The Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, has indicated plans to reconsider the capital requirement for potential foreign investors. Under the GIPC Act, a minimum capital of $500,000 in cash or capital goods is required from a foreign investor in any area of economic activity except trading. But speaking to Joy Business at the sidelines of a stakeholders meeting with public sector institutions, Chief Executive of the GIPC, Yofi Grant, said they are considering a review as part of measures to attract more foreign direct investment.
Under the GIPC Act, a minimum capital of not less than $500,000 in cash or capital goods is required from a foreign investor who wants to go into any area of economic activity except trading. The requirement, according to the center, has been a hindrance to its quest to attract more investors for the country, hence the need for a review of the law. This is said to be one of the incentives by the GIPC to attract foreign direct investment, FDI. Chief Executive of the GIPC, Yofi Grant, in an interview with Joy Business, highlighted the need to review the original capital requirement for investors.
Capital requirements, and I think there's a misunderstanding. We don't say that we are only saying we require to show that you brought in that amount of money. Because then we can enable you to take out your money and your profits unencumbered. And yes, they are there. But if we are hearing and we are seeing that people think that the capital limits have not done anything for us, then why do we have them? So we need to investigate all these things. If we have laws that are not doing anything positive for us, we need to change them. And if we change them, would it result in something negative? So you need to look at all these things. It's not just, it's easy to say, well, we don't think it's useful. But we do the analysis after we hear what people say.
Yofi Grant also disclosed that many of the policies initiated by the current government have begun yielding results from the economy.
The One District, One Factory has also attracted a lot of interest, investment interest. And recently, in our trip to China, for example, one company, China Machinery and Equipment, signed a $2 billion MOU to support the One District, One Factory. They signed it with the AGI and the government of Ghana. We've seen, I have had requests from Turkish companies who are very keen to give financial support in equipment manufacturing to support agriculture, because they also heard about the planting for food and jobs, which they think is a significant transformational policy. And then there are some too who are very clear that they want to play a role in the One Dam, One Village policy. And there are some who want to go into education, there are some who want to go into health. And we encourage our Ghanaian business people to take advantage of such opportunities as well.
As part of long-term measures to transform the center, the GIPC will be converted into Economic Development Board. This is to enable the center to take certain key economic decisions for the country.
Government says it is working with the Ghana Revenue Authority GRA to intensify tax compliance measures.
This is one of the large taxpayers' units of the Ghana Revenue Authority, where businesses come here to file their tax returns. For the Ministry of Finance and the Ghana Revenue Authority, they believe that a lot more needs to be done to encourage these firms to meet their tax obligations. And the fact that they're going to actually do more and review their strategies to encourage these firms to walk in here and pay their taxes. Now, all these initiatives have been influenced by the fact that for the first 4 months of this year, revenue hasn't been doing that well.
And that's all in business tonight. Many thanks for watching. My name is Emmanuel Apuachi. Have a good evening.
More than 1,000 hectares of farmland belonging to about 900 farmers in the Upper East region have been affected by the fall armyworm invasion, with at least 200 of the farmlands completely destroyed. This is according to the Regional Director of Agriculture, Reverend John Menu. Correspondent Albert Sori has details in the following report.
According to the Upper East Regional Director of Agriculture, Reverend John Menu, the invasion of the fall armyworm has caused damage to various crops, particularly maize, in parts of the region, posing threat to food security. There are also fears that poverty levels in the region could rise if the invasion of these dangerous pests is not immediately stopped. Reverend Menu says, though the situation is under control, the Boku West, Pusiga and Garu districts are seriously affected.
We have a total area affected 1,273.6 hectares. Then the number of farmers that have been affected are 942 farmers. Then areas that have been sprayed is 992.6 hectares. Then areas that have been recovered, we said 1,273.6 have been affected, and we have recovered 842.4 hectares. And area that have been destroyed is 178.2 hectares.
Chemicals have been distributed free of charge to farmers in the region to enable them spray their farms as a measure to curb the destruction. Researchers at the Savannah Agricultural Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research at Manga in the Binduri district have also come up with measures of detecting early warning signs of the invasion of the fall armyworm. On the sidelines of a sensitization forum for farmers and agricultural extension workers in the Binduri district, leader of the research team, Dr. Francis Kusi, explained to Joy News what the methods of detection are.
Has two insecticides, two components. The phelan trap based on the distance, so you could see even the name. This is especially based on the fall armyworm. You could see the name on it. We bought this in online. So you take the trap like this. We have the lure in here, where we insert it at the top here. So it attracts the adult fall armyworm in there. Then we keep this insecticide inside the container in this form. So as they are trapped in here, they are killed by the insecticide.
Ariku Martin Akudugu is a former second national best farmer. He is one of those affected by the invasion of the fall armyworm. He has learned some techniques to deal with the spread.
So now every day we go in there to check to see whether we see the adult, we see the eggs, or we see the larvae, those small ones. So we do daily checks and we spray frequent. Every 3 days we spray our farms. So that have helped us a lot. That's why I think that I thought these farmers, they wouldn't be able to get that good information. So I will collaborate with MOFA and with the SARE to do this education.
For Joy News, Albert Sori, reporting from Manga.
24 people in Dohinyalele, a suburb of Tamale, have stolen power to the tune of 75,098 cedis. Currently, over 100 residents have been vetted to assess how much power they had stolen after they were caught tapping power illegally. Addressing a news conference in Tamale, the Corporate Affairs Director of Northern Distribution Company, Maxwell Kofi Katoka, said the issue of power theft has gained an alarming proportion in the region.
The total is 75,098 cedis, 19 persons. Ladies and gentlemen, if only 24 customers together can steal power worth more than 75,000 cedis, then you know that your company, NEDCO, is at the risk of getting collapsed. That going forward, NEDCO will add naming and shaming to the tools available to her for fighting illegal connections. Under the circumstances, Duanaili has offered itself as a very fine starting point. Accordingly, we will oblige them.
Mr. Kotoka catalogued some of the attacks NEDCO staff had faced in some communities in the metropolis, citing a recent one at Doinaile.
In the forenoon of Wednesday, July 5, 2017, a NEDCO team was in Doinaile with a court bailiff directing service of sermons to some residents who had been caught by NEDCO in various acts of illegal connections and power theft. Ordinarily, the bailiff should have done that service alone, but because of the gawky house numbering system, NEDCO had to accompany the bailiff so as to show them the specific households. It must therefore be noted that NEDCO was only assisting the court official to execute an order of the court, the fountain of law and order in our society. After an hour or so of working, the NEDCO team, including the bailiff, had moved significantly away from the official NEDCO branded vehicle that conveyed them to the community. At this point, a group of young men wielding clubs, machetes, sticks, metal bars, catapults, and wooden planks with nails perforated through them, chanting antagonistic songs and threats, moved towards the NEDCO vehicle, ostensibly in search of the NEDCO team. As the NEDCO team was not immediately in sight, the charge group deflated 3 of the 4 tires of the NEDCO vehicle, thereby demobilizing the vehicle and significantly denying the team any real chances of retreat or even escape if the need arose. Having succeeded in this, the youth then went into the community scouting for the NEDCO team. From the loud chants of the youth, our team sensed danger, so they kept moving away from the din till they could no more. The youth caught up with them and molested the team leader.
Still ahead in the bulletin, the Save a Mother, Save a Child fundraising campaign to build a new maternity and mother and baby unit at the Companoche Teaching Hospital has now mobilized all 10 million cedis required to complete the new unit. We'll be back with international news. Now, one police officer was shot dead on Thursday afternoon at Abekala Pass on the George Okabush Highway by 2 suspected robbers on a motorbike. One other police officer is said to have been injured in the shooting incident. Eyewitnesses tell Joy News the suspected robbers subsequently seized the vehicle on the highway and sped off with it after the incident.
Exactly did you witness?
Okay, the incident took us by surprise because we just heard a gunshot, and then after the gunshot, I realized a policeman ran across the street, go through the into the forest bureau, and then his hand, his head, they shot his hand. Fine. And then his motorbike was on the floor. And then other policeman was also coming. He realized his colleague's bike was on the floor, so he stopped, asking why is the bike on the floor. And then the two robbers, the other one told the other guy that he should shoot. So immediately the other guy started shooting him. He gave him 3 shots, and the policeman was down, begging him to stop shooting because he wants to survive. But then the armed robber did not listen. He gave him another shot. He gave him another 2 shots again, so making more than five shots. And afterwards, they walked towards the Kasua way, and then they came across a guy riding Hyundai Sonata. So they took the car from the guy, and then they went away with the car. We went ahead and then approached the driver. The driver told us that even the car they took from him, that car has not enough fuel, so the car will short fuel soon. So the car short fuel on his way going. So the car stopped at close to Kwashima. As at now, I'm sure the car will still be there at Kwashima Junction. So the car was there, and then I'm sure they took another car to go because the first car short fuel. So for about 1.5 hours before the police patrol came. So when the police patrol came, about 1.5 hours, then the guys here were saying, oh, they know where they are, they park here. So the patrol team needs to quickly rush and then get them. But when they got there, it was empty car. They realized the guys have escaped, they've taken another car and then they've moved on.
All right, so we have an image or a photograph taken off the scene. We are unable to establish whether these are indeed the 2 robbers that we're talking about, but you can see them on our screens. And you can see the motorbikes also. So you can see 2 motorbikes right there at the scene, and the officer who we believe had been shot lying right there at the scene. Now, this is an image that we obtained, but from an eyewitness. We were unable to verify, but we thought we may want to share that with you, but because it captures the moment. Now, Accra Region Police Director of Operations Chief Superintendent Kwesi Fori, who visited the scene later, described the shooting as barbaric, but said they were doing everything possible to ensure that perpetrators are brought to book.
It is a very callous and barbaric act that have been committed against our colleagues, the 2 police officers. Let me say that the 2 police officers are unarmed officers that are into this very community on community policing activities. They are here to educate people, they are here to foster that kind of police-civil relations. That was their business today. And while they were doing this business in this very community, 2 unidentified men opened fire on them and then succeeded in killing one, and the other is receiving medical attention. I will say that this act of cowardness will not intimidate the police. The police will still stand by its constitutional mandate by ensuring that we safeguard all members of our communities. So we urging members of the community to provide useful information that might lead to the arrest of these miscreants. Again, we also want to assure you that the police will do everything possible to weed out criminals, and that for now, we're going all out, to pursue all manner of criminals to make sure that Ghana, as it depicts, continue to enjoy that peace and security.
Now, within the last 10 days, the Upper West region has been under attack from suspected armed robbers. 3 cases of suspected robbery were recorded, with 3 of the suspected robbers mobbed and later died at the Nadoli hospital. In one of the incidents, the police engaged in a shootout with the suspected robbers, killing 1 and later arresting 4. Deputy Upper West Regional Police Correspondent, Deputy Upper West Regional Police Chief ACP Edward Udru-Kwating disclosed this to the media in Wa. Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
According to the Deputy Upper West Police Commander ACP Edward Udru-Kwating, the first incident took place at the Sisters Hostel of the Wa campus of the University for Development Studies, where Oyime Kwaku and Harry Amankwa, age 24 and 26 respectively, were violently attacked by 33-year-old Ibrahim Adams and an accomplice who is now at large. Suspect Ibrahim Adam and his accomplice, wearing face masks and armed with cutlass and shotguns, attacked the students and attempted to rob them of their laptops, mobile phones, and other belongings.
Suspect Ibrahim Adams attacked and severely butchered Harry Amankwa on his right shoulder, head and wrist and right wrist. The victim, Harry Amankwa, managed to disarm the suspect of the cutlass, after which he slashed the suspect on his left elbow with the cutlass. The suspect and his accomplice, after sensing danger, fled the scene. The victim, who was lying in a pool of blood with his right wrist almost severed, was rushed to the Wa Regional Hospital. The suspect, who had a deep cut on his elbow, was rushed to the same hospital by his uncle for medical treatment.
The second incident happened at Natobanori in the Nodolokeliu district. The complainant, 45-year-old Die Numa Kweku, at about 1:30 a.m. last Sunday, heard an unusual noise in his room. He woke up and saw 3 people who are now deceased, Puri and 2 other people who are of Fulani extraction, with 2 single-barrel shotguns and cutlasses, busily searching the complainant's personal effects.
Complainant raised an alarm and the culprits escaped from the room. He claimed he has identified 2 of the suspects and led 4 other young men to the houses of the 3 Fulani men, namely Puri and 2 others yet to be identified, and arrested them to his house. He later invited his neighbors to his house, and as they were cautioning them, they were beating them at the same time. When he saw that they were weak, they conveyed them on a tricycle to Nandoli police station. When they were sent to the hospital, they were pronounced dead on the arrival.
The third incident, ACP Edward Udru-Kwating said, took place at the Ulo Nabre Road, where police at hand had information that some unidentified armed men had blocked the road and were allegedly robbing road users. One of the suspects, Willen Dibari, even attempted slicing his own throat with a sharp knife, but was prevented by the police.
As soon as they put up the engine, one of the suspects was walking towards them with a dagger, while the remaining were standing by with cutlasses. When the sergeant realized that their lives were in danger, he fired at one who was advancing towards them, killing him instantly, and the rest ran into the bush. The deceased was identified as Desmond Denyi, alias Nabu, a notorious criminal in Jirapa. We would like to use this opportunity to assure you that we shall ensure that all citizens are able to go about their legitimate business without any fear or hindrance. Be rest assured that we shall exhibit true professionalism in the discharge of our duties.
Reporting for J News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Now, the Save a Child, Save a Mother fundraising campaign to build a new maternity and mother and baby unit at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital has now mobilized all the 10 million cedis required to complete the new unit. It follows a $500,000 donation by one of Africa's richest women, Nigerian billionaire Folo Runso Alakija. Work has already begun on the new unit, inspired by Joy News' Seth Kwame Boateng's special assignment documentary Next to Die, which highlights the needless deaths of women and babies at the Confanochi Teaching Hospital due to congestion. First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo, who has spearheaded the Save a Child, Save a Mother initiative, tells Joy News, even though the fundraising campaign has reached the initial target, it will continue so other facilities can benefit. Seth Kwame Watting has more.
1,500 square meter new maternity and mother and baby unit under construction will be 5 times the size of the current unit. The contractor, Africa Building Partners, is already on site and has put in place the elements on which the foundation of the structure will be placed. The site engineer, Stefan Corrett, tells Joy News they are confident the facility will be ready for commissioning by the October deadline. All right, so at the moment what we've been doing is we've been concentrating on getting our earthworks completed. But obviously, as we all know, there's been a lot of rain in Kumasi the last couple of weeks, and so what we've had to do is we've had to find ingenious ways to try and carry on with the work. So wherever we've had problems with bulk earthworks in the rain, we then concentrated on all of our retaining walls, our ramp, our services in the ground. We've got ductwork, we've got sewage. Those are not as affected by the rains, and in doing so, we're hoping that we can at least catch up on the lost time once we get out of the ground. We are stopping at nothing to ensure the project suffers no delays.
For the maternity pediatric, we are having about 100 spaces. As you can see, the INCU, we have about 100 cribs where you can see 100 cribs. Each INCU area has 25 cribs, okay, incubators and all. Then we have a breastfeeding area which is taking about close to 56 for breastfeeding. And this is purposely because in our settings, we don't have a place where the mothers can come in, take their babies, especially for the pediatric, to go and feed them, breastfeed them. And these are areas we have taken care of. And when you come to the maternity too, there's enough bed space, more than 50 bed space that we are working with. We have pre-delivery area, which has about close to 20 bed spaces. And in fact, the bed spaces are just enough for such a space.
With all 10 million cedis needed for the project now mobilized, First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo was thrilled about what the Save a Child, Save a Mother campaign has been able to achieve so far.
I am feeling quite good about the project. It's going quite well. And getting to this point, yes, I knew that somehow the way people have come to support, I knew that we'll get here very quickly, and I'm very happy with the progress so far.
Mrs. Akufo-Addo reiterated her promise to use the funds mobilized from the campaign to improve facilities at other hospitals. She was grateful for the generous donation of $500,000 made by a Nigerian billionaire, Foloronso Alakija, who she says was touched after watching the Next to Die documentary.
She saw it and she said, look, I haven't slept since I saw the video, and she told her husband that they have to do something. And they sent me this huge amount of $500,000, which has been of great help. And so I thank you so much, Mrs. Alakija. May God bless you.
Government has meanwhile reiterated its promise to raise funds to complete the almost 1,000-bed capacity block, which has been abandoned for over 40 years. My name is Seth Kwame Boatin for Joy News.
Well, management of the Confanochi Teaching Hospital Thursday visited the two key stakeholders of the Save a Child, Save a Mother project. As a Multimedia Group Limited, parent company of Joy News, and the Office of the First Lady were collaborating to ensure the success of the project. The delegations say the visit to the Office of the First Lady and the Multimedia Group Limited was to show appreciation for the partnership and support in exposing the challenges of the hospital and also finding solutions to them. The CAR delegation, led by the new Chief Executive, Dr. Ohiniba Owusu-Danso, was upbeat about the number of lives that will be saved when the new mother and baby unit is complete. Let's first hear the interactions that took place at the First Lady's office.
We took him to this MBU block that has been standing for over 40 years, and he did express serious concern about the neglect. This had followed the documentary that the multimedia had already released on the state of our MBU and then the care for the mothers and the children in particular. And we're very happy the First Lady, through her foundation, intervened with this project. I was part of the event in Manchester, for instance, and with the team up from Lady Julia, we managed to raise some funds. We are here to officially communicate our gratitude and special appreciation for the First Lady, for her initiation and for the commitment that she has shown. And we are aware that even as the official funds raised had not been enough, she's still committed to make sure that this project is fully executed. And that is why we've come to express our gratitude to the First Lady. And we want to say that we've also been on the ground, committed, and we are following up with the contractors with very regular interactions to make sure that the project is pursued on schedule. And I must say that for this time, we are sure that we are actually timely. We met the contractors last Monday, and they've given us their work schedule, and we think we are on course towards the October deadline.
As you said, you followed up what's been happening with the mother and baby unit, which we decided to help rehabilitate or actually build a new facility due to what we saw in the documentary, which wasn't a good thing at all for a mother, and you know, and so we took it up, and by God's grace, we're on course. It's in progress, as you've said. I haven't seen it, but I've seen photos of progress as of yesterday, and we're praying that you know, it all goes through by October to relieve the congestion in the mother and baby unit and to stop babies from dying.
Their next visit was at the Multimedia Group Limited.
The challenge of Conference, especially for these over 40-year-old projects that has been sitting down, has been tossed from government to government, Minister of Health after Minister of Health. But it took your expose to bring the issues really to the fore. And I must say that we know what it takes to produce such a documentary. The personnel involved, the time involved, and even the financial resource involved. And for you to have done this out of a social service commitment, I think the management of Conference.
We also are very grateful for your cooperation, because sometimes you find a situation where even though you are trying to draw attention to something for it to be fixed, some people take offense. Okay, so we are very grateful for the cooperation that we have received from the management. And yeah, so we look forward to that day, and it will be a great day indeed.
The exercise that we have started has gone well. We are almost getting to the level of funds mobilization that we targeted. So I want to assure you that we have almost gotten all the money that we need for the project to be completed. And the money is safe. Right now, if the money is sitting in the account, it's because the contractor has not gotten to the level where we have to pay him. Otherwise, we would have paid. If it is because of money that will get the project completed, we'll do it today and tomorrow we'll move in. So the money is safe. Courtesy my treasury manager, who is always ensuring that every city, every person is kept for you.
Now, some members of the Ghanaian diaspora community have rejected a purported apology by Deputy Trade and Industry Minister Robert Ahunkalente. The Deputy Minister has come under heavy criticism for his comments in which he took a swipe at Ghanaians living abroad for whining. Mr. Ahunkalente has been unavailable for comments, but released a statement on Thursday saying the comments were not to cast aspersions. Gifty Ando Apia has more in the following report.
Available statistics indicate that Ghanaians in the diaspora remitted over $2 billion in 2014, with the figure shooting up to some $5 billion in 2015 alone.
This evening, my name is Lai. She's Gloria Kwene Nyako, Miss G. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.
is Joy News Prime.